Good day everyone and welcome to Slosh Mining. Hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. In our two previous videos we did a calculation of three graphics cards, the RTX 2060, RTX 3060 Ti, the LHR version, and then the RX 6700, and I created a table and they're more or less the same budget. So we needed to decide which cards to buy, and seeing that Ethereum is falling away, what card would be the best to buy for future proofing our mining rig? We then decided to buy two RTX 3060 Ti's LHR versions. In our last video, we unboxed the two graphics cards. It's time to plug it in and make some money. Let's get into it. We are running a Gigabyte H110 D3A motherboard. It can handle 6 graphics cards. We've got 4 gigs of memory and a G4400 Pentium CPU. We do have a 1200 watt power supply that can supply power to 6 graphics cards. So if these two graphics cards go well, I'll order another 4 RTX 3060 Ti's, get them plugged into this mining rig. I will be benchmarking all algorithms with T-Rex minus, seeing that it is the NVIDIA card. So we got the two graphics cards plugged into our test rig. We will be testing conflux, Ergo, etc, ETH, Firo, and Ravencoin. All our benchmarks are run with default settings, so 100% power limit, no change on the core and memory clock, and I've just changed the fan speed to 70%. We're going to start with conflux, and you'll notice that the core clock changes quite consistently. It's not a steady figure. So at the moment it's 1755 megahertz, and we're getting about 98 megahash per second. So there we go, 49.3 megahash per second at 199 watts, and this is conflux. So 49.3 megahash per second at 199 watts per card. Let's get into our next algorithm. Um, let's see what Ergo hashes at. You'll notice that the core frequency is a lot higher than on conflux, 1950 megahertz. Memory stays at 6800. You're looking at about 90 megahash per second at 170 watts. See what the other card is. The frequency is at 1965 and 1950. Maybe that's why we're getting two different numbers there. Okay, and both cards are exactly the same. This card that is slightly higher is 79.5, and the one that's about 15 megahash lower is getting about 79.3. This algorithm is all over the place though with these LHR cards. As you can see, the power limit's 128, then it jumps to 172. Do we go with 78.2 at 128? or 85 megahash per second at 172 watts. Remember, I haven't actually changed any frequencies or overclocked and undervolted this card. So it's quite strange how it fluctuates. So one will be higher, like it will go from 85 to 78 to 83 to 78. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go with this. We're going to go with 78 at 128 watts. It's fluctuating way too much. I'm going to call it on this one. I will put all the figures in a table at the end of our benchmark so that we can compare each algorithm, the hash rate, and the power consumption. We're going to try ETC. And this is at 100% power limit. Okay, so we're looking at about 53 megahash for both cards. That would work out to about just under 27 megahash per card. This algorithm pushes the core frequency to 1950 on the one card and 1965 on the other. Here we go, we're getting about 27.4 megahash at 150 watts. We're going to move on to the next algorithm. We're going to call it on Ethereum Classic, 27.49 megahash at 150 watts. Okay. Ethereum should mine exactly like Ethereum Classic, but just to prove the numbers, let's run the benchmark on Ethereum. Okay, numbers look exactly the same like Ethereum Classic, 27.45 megahash at 150 watts. I'm going to call it on this algorithm and move on to the next one. So let's try Firo. Okay, Firo, you'll notice that it doesn't use the full core clock. As you saw earlier, these cards can go up to 1950, and this is about 200 megahash lower than its max. Memory stays at 6800 megahertz. Okay, each of these cards are mining at 3.4 megahash per second at 199 watts. We're going to call it at 3.4 megahash at 199 watts. This algorithm doesn't use the full core clock on these cards. It's about 200 megahash lower. Okay, let's move on to the next algorithm. And one of the most popular algorithms is Ravencoin. The DAG size is about 2.95 gigabytes. Kapow is one of the most popular mining algorithms for NVIDIA cards. So this card should do very well on this algorithm. Okay, we're hitting 52 megahash for both cards. 26 megahash at 199 watts. Just remember that our cards are not optimized for overclocking and undervolting, that we will do later. It's using 1740 megahertz on the core and 1785, so it's not using the full core. So we're going to call it at 26 mega hash at 199 watts. Power limit
After our
was at 100.
benchmark
We
with our
didn't
default
increase our
settings,
core and memory clock, and the hash rates are as below. We've inserted all our hash rates, and our power consumption is at 20 cents USD per kilowatt. Click on calculate. And Ravencoin is the most profitable at $5.04 before electricity. Then it was conflux at $3.64. Ergo, we got just over $3. Firo is at $3.03. Ethereum is at $2.22. And Ethereum Classic was right at the bottom at $1.44. To keep this video short, I will be running the overclocks and the vaults for these quads. We'll be jumping right into those figures. So we're going to do 75 on the power limit. We're going to do 200 on the core and 1300 on the memory. And let's test these figures. So we're going to start with conflux. And on conflux, we are getting 55 megahash, 56 at 149 watts. So every 25% you're dropping your wattage by about 50 watts. 55.2 and 56 at 149 watts. The core seems to be very stable on these overclocks. It's not jumping up and down, but we're only getting 111 megahash for both cards. And that's at 296 watts. Let's move on to our next algorithm. Ergo. Let's see what we get. Ergo, we started at 211 megahash, and it seems to be dropping steadily. You'll probably notice that the core frequency of these cards are jumping around as well. Okay, so we're getting about 91, 92 megahash per second at 140 watts. I'm going to take the lowest figure. So we're looking at 91 megahash per second at 142 watts. Core frequency is a bit higher, 2145 megahertz. These figures are not very stable, so I'm going to call it at, let's say, 91 megahash at 142 watts. Let's move on to the next algorithm. I'm going to leave ETC and ETH for last, Ethereum Classic and Ethereum for last. Let's move on to Firo. So you'll notice that the core clock for Firo is a lot lower than the other algorithms. 1600 to 1650 megahertz on the core. The memory is at 8100. We're getting about 3.4 megahash per second at 150 watts. So we're going to leave it at 3.4 megahertz at 150 watts. Let's move on to our next algorithm. And that is Ravencoin. One of the most popular coins to mine with NVIDIA graphics cards. Let's see how well it does on the 3060 Ti LHR. We're looking at about 56 megahash per second for both cards, which works out to about 28 megahash per card. There we go, 27.8 and 28.4 at 150 watts. Okay, I'm going to call it over there, 27.7 megahash at 149 watts. Let's move into ETC, Ethereum Classic. Let's see what we can do on ETC and ETH by dropping our power limit. So let's just get a benchmark of where we are at these overclock and undervolting settings. And we're getting about 33 megahash at 149 watts. Okay, I think 50% is the lowest, so let's see what we can do with that. We should be getting about 33.3 at 99 watts, but let's confirm that. Okay, so the hash rate hasn't changed one bit between 75 and 50% power limit. We're still getting 33.3 megahash at the specified power consumption, and we can drop it to about 9900 watts. Do we see an increase in hash rate if we increase our memory clock to 1500? 33.6. This card is running Samsung DDR6 memory. Okay, let's try something else on the core. If we drop the core to minus 502, do we see an increase or decrease in hash rate, and what will our power consumption be? If I'm not mistaken, 99 watts is the lowest power consumption that these cards will do. I'm going to call it. Dropping the core clock to minus 502. Our hash rate is at 34.18. Our hash rate is at 34.18 at 99 watts. And these overclock settings will be the same for mining Ethereum as well. Just to test, I will leave everything as is. Our power limit at 50, our core clock at minus 502, and our memory at 1500. So let's try mining Ethereum and see if we get the same hash rate as Ethereum Classic. And for Ethereum, we're hitting 34.1 megahash per second at 99 watts. Okay, now that, let's put this into a table and see what our hash rates are. With the overclocked and undervolt settings, we used 75% power limit, plus 200 on the core, plus 1300 on the memory, and these were the hash rates that we got. ETC and ETH, we dropped it down to 50% power limit, because it didn't really make a difference to the hash rate. At 75% power limit, it was running at 149 watts. So we left it at 50% power limit. We're getting about 33 megahash per second. We could drop the power limit to under 75, but then you're going to start losing hash rate. So let's see what the most profitable algorithm is with these settings on what to mine. We've inserted our hash rates and power consumption for the overclocked and undervolt settings. What was the most profitable algorithm with these settings? And we've got Ravencoin, the Kapow algorithm, at $5.43 before electricity. And it is about 70 cents more with the overclocked and undervolt settings. And you're earning about 30 to 34 coins per day. Then we've got conflux on the octopus algorithm at $3.39. Ergo at 3.44. Firo, Ethereum, and Ethereum Classic at $1.24 after electricity. So as you can see, the Palit RTX 3060Ti LHR version is still very profitable. So does mining Ethereum really matter? I don't think so. Hope you found this video informative and insightful. Please leave your comments down below of your thoughts on this video and the algorithms that I've mined. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video. Ciao for now.